Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and yeah, I think I need to throw out a little bit of an opinion piece on the entire harvest mechanic and the crafting and the debacle that is the PoE subreddit the past couple of days. To say that I've been slightly disheartened with everything I've seen the past couple of days is an understatement. I am somewhat crushed just reading everything that I've seen for the past couple of days. And I feel like, not me personally, but like my type of player and what I represent has just become the enemy of the game and the community as of just recently. And the type of player I'm talking about is someone that I guess isn't a pure casual, that spends a few hours in the game every day, and has a bunch of game knowledge, gets a bunch of stuff done, crafts a bunch of their own gear, and was pretty happy with the system we had in place, and thus isn't a fan of harvest crafting going core. So I'm on the side where I don't think harvest crafting, the way it's currently put in, is good for the game. So let me just start that off by saying the way it's currently in, if you just put that straight into the game, I don't think that's good. The level of crafting that you can do, the level of crafting that you can min-max, whatever, regardless of how the system is implemented through the bullshit garden that, let's be honest, no one really wants. That's not the point. Just if you can put in this crafting one for one into the game in the future, I think that's bad. Right, plenty of people think it's good, plenty of people want some sort of deterministic crafting, and I'm not entirely against that, but in the current form that it's in, I think it's way too powerful. Like, you can just min-max any piece of gear way too much, and you have too much control. So if in the future, I think, you want some sort of crafting like that, I'm not necessarily against that, but it can't be this sort of exact method. It has to be toned down to a certain extent, to a certain extreme. So that's where I stand. I'm not like against your idea of deterministic crafting or being able to craft your gear a little better, but I am strictly against putting it in its current form the way it is, because it's a complete 180 from what we used to do, and just how much of a change it is in crafting. And you can say that, and I've seen plenty say that PoE's crafting system at this point is just old, and this is the update it needs, and whatever. PoE's crafting system is unique to it, and it was to start with, and it was one of the real unique, intricate driving factors that made Path of Exile a special, unique game. And sure, it's just glorified gambling, but that's how it always was, and that's how it has been, and how it makes sense for it to stay. Because slowly over time, over the past few years, it has gotten easier, it has gotten better, it has gotten more, as you would say, deterministic, because just about every crafting league brings in some new method of targeting your crafts a lot simpler, a lot easier, and letting you create more powerful gear. And this isn't even that. This is just fucking an item editor in the end. If you've got the time and the crafts or the knowledge or whatever, you can just make whatever you want, bam, there it is. Your path of building item now exists in game, and it's completely possible. And I don't think that's good. I don't think that is healthy for the progress or the future of the game. And there are a bunch of reasons why I think that, but let me also just quickly tackle the fact that I've seen a lot of comments and support behind comments like, if harvest crafting isn't in the game next league, then I'm not going to play. There's no point in me playing. I need this crafting now. I've seen how good it can be. I don't think the next league is for me if there is no harvest crafting. Let me just stop you right there and say, every fucking league seems like the best thing ever, and if they take it away, then it's going to be shit next time. Just let's not say every league, right? Obviously, but most leagues come in with a whole bunch of loot, a whole bunch of crafting, a whole bunch of monsters, and then you think, oh damn, I don't know how next league's going to feel without all of that. There's always another league, is what I'm saying, because the next league, is potentially, from what we're told, going to be a big one, and it will probably overshadow whatever the hell you're currently dealing with here, and it'll probably be a lot more fun once again to engage with some other content and be given a new fun bunch of shit to work with. And likely there'll be actual new content for us to tackle as well, because without the actual harvest crafting and stuff, then this league was pretty lackluster on content, and that's mostly, I think, why it would have been disengaging for a lot of people. Not just because you don't want to engage with the harvests, or you were burnt out from crafting too many good items. It's not. I don't think it's much of that. It's just that there wasn't much new content, and typically for our new leagues, for a good sustainable league, you want to engage with a whole bunch of new endgame or a new league mechanic that has a bunch of new content. This one did not have that. That next one probably will, right? But to say that I'm not going to do next league because there isn't enough of what this league offered in the next one, you don't even know what the next one has. It might have some fun, new, cool shit. So, calm the fuck down and see what the next one has to offer before you just start throwing a bit of a tantrum, I guess, that no harvest, no me, I've been playing for 5,000 hours, all of a sudden this is the best crafting ever and I can't go back to the old system. I don't know, man. That just... I can't possibly understand how all of a sudden there was no real problems with people crafting. The whole crafting sort of mechanic up until now has rarely been complained about. It's like, we want trade, we want FPS, we want whatever, right? But almost never has there been a huge issue of, I can't target my crafts well enough, or it's too costly, or, gambling. And all of a sudden, you've been given the perfect way to craft all your items, and you go, you can't possibly take that away from me. It's amazing. A lot of these leagues should be taken in isolation, and you've been given this, and Chris said he's going to break the game with this league, and he fucking did, and you want it to stay. That's just, you can't do that. I guess you can, but you shouldn't do that, because this is definitely game breaking. Now let me start with all of the game breaking stuff. Years and years ago, when I was one of the first people to take on our new highest content, which was Atziri. If you want to go back and find that character and that character's gear, it's a pile of shit. But back then, it was pretty good, and I was happy with it. My foil had like attack speed and a bit of damage, and yay, that's it. And that's good enough. And for most content, you still only need like 50% of a gear's potential to be good enough on it with builds that are good, and maybe some builds need slightly better gear, but typically none of the content in the game needs gear better than about like 50% of the item's potential. And in most cases, the mirror tier stuff that you're crafting right now, or you can craft, is just way too powerful for anything in the game that is possibly necessary. I've seen a lot of arguments that not everyone's crafting mirror tier gear, not everyone's, doing that well with their stuff, because casuals and a few hours a day and you're still an elitist. For some of the gear, yes. For some of the gear, it's going to take a lot to craft to that level of mirror gear, but you can still get there reliably, and that's still pretty stupid. But for some of the gear, it's way too easy for everyone. And the only thing holding you back is knowledge, as is the case with plenty of past examples in this game. It's not really about skill, it's not really about time. Time brings to it, but it's just about the knowledge. If I have if I spend a lot of time learning a lot in this game, I have the knowledge to then go out and tackle just about anything and craft whatever I want, make a build that I want, because I know how to do it all of a sudden. And with some of the gear, like I'm going to take exploding chests, boots, belts as 3 options. I can go out there and just about make a damn near perfect item in any one of those categories within hours, after just playing some of the harvest, getting a few of the crafts, and then it just takes almost no effort, once you know what to do, to make those as good as possible. And I've been playing for, I'm going to throw out my numbers and facts, just like so many other people have, probably 20,000 hours, about 7 years, and I've never come close to a mirror item. And that's not a problem, because mirror items aren't necessary. No one needs them. They're just there for the challenge of the people that want to invest much more than anyone should invest into a game, effort or time-wise, to get for a challenge. Because they're just so far and away better than anything you'll ever need. Anytime I've considered going for a mirror item, by the time I get to, or for an item that can be considered mirror worthy or close to, let's just say, anytime I'm at like 70% potential of an item's, let's just say DPS. If a DPS it can have 1,000, by the time you're at 700 DPS, your character's shitting on everything. Your character's doing everything way too easily already. And it's just not necessary to go any further. Never gone any further. You can go further if you want, because just overkill. No kill like overkill, right? But it's just not necessary. So to be like acting as though you're entitled to having this god tier gear and you being able to target it, I just don't understand anymore, because you really do want just things way too easy. The big example is in the major couple of threads that are going on. The guy talking about the 550 DPS foil, the pretty good foil that devs should just craft, because that's apparently the standard you've set for something you should be able to craft easily, or just realistically. You shouldn't, and you don't need to. I just went back and looked at one of my most powerful characters I ever made a couple of leagues ago, and it was a berserker, and one of his weapons was a 450 DPS foil, and by my standards that thing was insane. 450 DPS, it was insane, and it crushed the game. It didn't even have crit. It was annihilating super hard, and I personally haven't, I don't think, ever crafted above 500 DPS, maybe 510 once or twice. I know how to. I can if I want to, if I spend a lot of time, money, effort, but there's just no need to. So what's with the parameter of why can't I get 550 DPS all the time? Or I can make a 400, but if I want to make more, I have to put in too much work. So what? That's what it is. It's the challenge, it's the grind, it's the time, it's the knowledge. That's what this game is. It's a grind. And to get to the top, you should put in the top effort. And so the argument that it's hard to do, or maybe people can't do it reliably enough because of gambling and stuff, I just don't see it holding any weight, because you don't need to be able to do that. It's there for the challenge, it's there for the extra bit of motivation and grind to get to a certain another level above everyone else. And like I said, most gear, just at like 50% of its potential, is more than enough for any character to be seeing the potential of that character. Years ago, I can remember finding a just claw on the ground that had like 300 DPS, and it had fizz, 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 attack speed, crit, and it was one of the best claws in the game. 300 DPS off the ground. And the best a claw could possibly get at that time was like 500 DPS. And 300 DPS was already so insane and so good, but that's only like 60% of the potential of that item. But it doesn't matter, that's still good enough. You shouldn't be entitled to having the ability to craft that 500 DPS, because that's the absolute pinnacle. That's the hardest thing to attain. That's where all of the grind really comes in. That's why mirror fees and mirrors exist to the price that they exist, because it's so hard to make that item, and then to replicate that item is a whole bunch of currency and work. And at this point, there's hardly anything separating these top items in the top, absolute top. I mean, right, who cares about the 0.0001%, right? I don't really, but I'm just giving an example of what the absolute top of the game is going to look like at this stage, because just about everyone who's putting in some effort and has the knowledge can make a custom set of gear to the best of their ability, to the best of the gear's ability, and then it's just a few little marginal stats or mods that are going to separate those last few mirror items. I don't know, I think that's pretty dumb as well. But to just go over the topic of how easy it is to craft some of your gear once again, to the mirror extent, or to the best extent, like loot just isn't exciting anymore, at least to me. Maybe it is to the people that haven't been grinding a lot, that haven't been playing the game the way it was originally meant to be played, a grinding game, and working for everything. And all of a sudden you're getting your first pair of really cool tailwind boots, or your first real big explosion chest. But the problem I'm saying is, once that's over, a few leagues down the line, that shit's not going to be exciting for you anymore either, because it's just too easy. It's too much of a given. I find a pair of hunter boots right now, I can just go make tailwind. Like that. Tailwind. Done. And if I want to just finish that craft off to the point where it's about as good of a boot as it can be, it takes a few extra crafts, and all of a sudden I can do that easily too. Boots just aren't exciting. There's no real excitement there, because you can make whatever boot you want basically immediately with the right crafts, which will take you a bit of grinding, a few maps, a few hours. Like I said, it's mostly about knowledge. Same with belts. You can get triple res, really good life, custom mod as prefix, whatever, just about instantly. There's no excitement there. You can make a mirror tier explosion chest. I made the best possible explosion chest I've ever had or ever seen up until this league, with like 6 crafts, 1 awakened orb. It's a joke. It's all about knowledge. And then putting in, I guess, some level of still effort and grind, because you need the awakened orb, you need the base, you need the crafts, and those crafts are not hard to get once you know what you're doing with the garden, whatever. So that's way too strong, and I don't know how you could possibly argue against that. In its current form, Harvest, way too strong. Maybe you can get slightly more deterministic, but even like taking away, you'd have to take away a lot of the influence craft, a lot of like specific tags to things. You'd have to take away add some removes. You'd have to make it so that you can only craft up to like tier 3 of a certain mod with this specific system. But there's already like, loot used to suck a lot, and then they gave you the crafting bench, and you could already customize your loot bit by bit so that you can save certain pieces of loot. But right now, you pick up a piece of loot off the ground. If it's got one mod you want, you can just build the entire item around that. And I don't know, that's just not exciting. You don't get excited for loot right now, as far as I'm concerned, looking at stuff off the ground. You don't need to pick stuff up, do you? You just pick up your currency, maybe the big item that you might find. Usually the stuff that's worth something is league and economy based. Changes every time, and then you can sell it for a bunch, and then you can just go ahead and make your exact perfect item. I don't think that's good. There needs to be some level of random involved, some level of gambling involved, and it's not just needing to use 6 harvest crafts instead of 2. That's not the random that I'm talking about, where you're just trying to hit your best mod over and over, and then eventually hit it, done, finish, put it away. That's just too good. So that's where I'm coming from. I don't possibly see how it can be good for the game in the future to have something this strong, because maybe you're not bored of it now, maybe you're very excited with it right now, but I can tell you right now, the loot is already pretty boring. Most just items that aren't really strictly unique in their uniqueness are worth shit and no one cares about. Just about any weapon you can craft much better, and they're not worth anything already. So throughout this league, a lot of loot has become invalid and pointless already. You've like wiped out half of Path of Exile's current loot in existence, because you can make a lot better, a lot easier, and you specifically will want like an explosion chest on every character for the most part. So just about none of the other chests are valid, none of the other mods are valid. You need some things that are really truly unique, and that's already just like boring as fuck, isn't it? At this point, I don't even know what else to say. I feel like I've already repeated myself a lot, and the video is just kind of pointless and just gonna get me some hate. All I'm saying at the moment is that reading stuff the past couple of days has been pretty disheartening, because it seems like a very all or nothing community right now. Give me this, or you guys suck and the game's gonna suck, and I can't believe you do this to me. Like, what is that all about? I don't know. And I feel like I just don't have a place in this game anymore when I read everything I've read for ever since they said Harvest is not going core. I don't know. I don't have any peers, and I'm not resonating with anyone. And this is, for whatever reason, a game that has just progressed to the point where it's not what it originally was, because it was supposed to be this safe haven from the casual fest that was some other game, where you can put in a lot more hours, you can put in a lot more effort, you can put in a lot more brain power and get some reward behind it. And instead it's turned into this really, you must cave into our demands, or you hate the player base, or you hate us, or you don't want the best for the game sort of mentality, which I just am hating seeing on behalf of the company that is putting out the game. I can't imagine them being too happy with reading anything about stuff like that. It's just, it's like too demanding, right? You're just not giving any middle ground, and it's, yeah, disheartening. So anyway, enjoy that. We'll see how it goes for me. Maybe well. So once again, opinion, maybe some sort of crafting like Harvest in the future, deterministic, whatever. Can't at all be in this current form. It's way too powerful. Chris knows it's way too powerful. He said it before it ever came out. This is going to be a clusterfuck. Enjoy it while it lasts. Why can't we just do that? Just like Dark Shrine League, they give you something. It's going to be way over the top. Take it for what it is, and then you go back to your previous thing with some other additional league at the side. Might be even bigger, even better, even more enjoyable. But you have to take these things in isolation. It's just like a Mayhem League as well. There's so much shit going on. You know it's not going to last. Enjoy it for what it is, and then move on. And hopefully you can still find some fun in the game in the future, especially with everything they're going to keep giving us with the new leagues and the new content. And you'll maybe even forget about harvest crafting if we don't get it in its exact form, or ever even in any form. Who knows? But hey, fuck, there goes the video. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.